Kendrick has responded to Drake, and here is everything he said. This is the entire Kendrick diss explained. And there is a lot in here, so stay tuned. We are so back. First of all, we gotta start with the song title. Naming it Euphoria has like 10 different meanings, okay? A, of course, because Drake produced the show Euphoria with Zendaya. As an executive producer, of course, he's making money off that show. Also, could be a nod to Drake's acting career in Degrassi, saying, you know, stick to where you came from, you're trying to be someone you're not. But also, somewhere that Kendrick didn't really touch on in this song, and Drake alluded to him maybe getting at it in this beef. What is Euphoria about? A bunch of young women who get naked on screen. There's something there that maybe Kendrick is referring to, but I don't know. Kendrick hides things in plain sight. The first bar, if reversed, is this.
Everything they say about me is true.
Just from this scene.
Everything they say about me is true. I'm a phony.
It's from the movie The Wiz, and who was in that movie? Michael Jackson. And who does Drake represent or claim to be all the time? Michael Jackson. The facade of the Oz, of the Wizard of Oz, it's all just fake. And Kendrick calls out Drake personally and calls him fake a lot in this, but let's get back to it. We're only one lyric in. He goes at his acting right here. The famous actor we once knew is looking paranoid and spiraling. Basically, the fact that Drake continuously posts on social media, dropped 2 diss tracks, waiting for Kendrick, it seems like he's paranoid and waiting for Kendrick to say something about him. He also responds to Drake saying that he's out of moves in the chess game. Why calculate you? Not as calculated, I can even predict your angle. Then he says, fabricate stories on the family front because you heard Mr. Morale, a pathetic master manipulator, I can smell the tails on you. This is a clear reference to the fact that on push-ups, Drake says, I'm with a bodyguard like Whitney, movie with Whitney Houston in it, but also the name of Kendrick's wife. And a lot of people had this random theory that seemed to appear from nowhere that Kendrick's wife cheated on him with a bodyguard to match Kendrick's infidelity. Kendrick's basically saying here, you're just making up fairy tales. I'm gonna dead that right now. Yes, you mentioned my wife, but don't get into my family business because you're just making stuff up. But basically he calls out Drake's entire persona as a fraud. You're not a rap artist, you're a scam artist with the hopes of being accepted. Tommy Hilfiger stood out, but FUBU had never been your collection. FUBU, for us, by us, basically calling out Drake for being a fake, not really being in tune with his black side, which he says a lot in this song. Now this bar right here, how I make music that electrify him, you make music that pacify him. I can double down on that line, but spare you this time. That's random acts of kindness. I think this bar has a lot more to it. Maybe we get into it in another video, but basically what he's saying is a couple double entendre. Pacifiers are used for what? Children. Drake makes music for the kids. Also could be a reference to the Euphoria thing from before. Who also is Baby in rap, Birdman. Drake was calling out Kendrick for making music for Top Dog, but Drake also has historically made music where Birdman gets paid off of it. And to pacify them, as in, this is another thing where Kendrick electrifies the public. All Right was used at protests. Drake has never really said anything on his albums when it comes to political topics or anything beyond himself. And then at the bottom here, he says, but don't tell no lie about me and I won't tell truths about you. Clear reference to the hard part 4. He says, don't tell a lie on me, I won't tell the truth about you. Basically saying, I know more. If you're gonna lie on me, if you're gonna make up these lies about my family, I will spew the truth, which I'm not even gonna do on this song. Now, this line right here, got a Benjamin and a Jackson all in my house like I'm Joe. This is a clear reference to On Push-Ups. Throughout this, they compare each other to Prince and Michael Jackson. That is the clear through line here. But when Drake says that Kendrick is actually his son because Michael Jackson's son name was Prince, Kendrick somehow Uno reverses it. This may be reading far too into it, but this was on Genius. Apparently, Ben is the title of an August 1972 song about a pet rat written for the film of the same name and performed by Michael Jackson, who also had a pet rat as a child, while Joe Jackson is Michael's father. So Kendrick's like, no, I'm not your son, I'm your dad. Pause. Crazy, everybody want to be demon till they get chipped by a throwaway. Drake said at the end of Push-Ups, don't make me bring the demon out, there's more things I know. And Kendrick's basically saying, if that was your throwaway song, don't get chipped by your own throwaway, okay? I have more that I can say about you as well. And I might do a show a day. That seemed like a reply basically to J. Cole saying he fell off like The Simpsons, even though he's still doing shows. He's saying I could do a show every day. Here where he said, the very first time I shot me a Drake, the homie had told me that aim it this way. I didn't point down enough today. I show you, I learned from those mistakes. Kendrick's basically using like a triple entendre here by saying Drake, obviously Draco, gun. He's saying, even though Drake used Snoop Dogg and Tupac to say that he wasn't actually in the streets, Kendrick's saying, you don't really know my real experience. I did shoot a gun, and the first time I did, my friend told me, aim a little lower. But in terms of aiming at Drake on the song, the rapper, he's saying, I used all these subliminal shots for years. I wasn't aiming directly at you, but now I won't make the same mistake. This is at you, Drake. This is for you. I am coming for you. Pause. He's saying the battle is on. Now, this part right here, I hate when rappers talk about guns, then somebody die, they turn into nuns, then hop online like pray for my city, he faking for likes and digital hugs. This is a direct reference to Drake actually talking tough on records and referencing his shooters, but then he did post when rapper Smoke Dogg of Toronto died, rest in peace, Drake did post this direct quote, I wish peace would wash over our city, so much talent and so many stories we never get to see play out, rest up Smoke. He's basically saying, why are you talking tough? And then claiming you want peace, maybe don't contribute to that if you're not part of that life. Valid point. He said, somebody had told me that you got a ring. On God, I'm ready to double the wage. I'd rather do that than let a Canadian dude make Pac turn in his grave. Drake allegedly bought at an auction Tupac's ring, which is the most valuable hip-hop artifact ever sold. That's what it looks like. I think it went for over $1 million. Kendrick's basically saying, I'll double it. I'll pay you double that just to get that back and get Pac's legacy back. Also referencing Tupac's AI song that Drake used. Claiming, why is a Canadian messing and tarnishing with Tupac's legacy when Kendrick clearly holds Tupac in such high regard? I hurt your feelings, you don't want to work with me no more, okay? That is a clear reference to Control when Drake seemed very sensitive of them seeing each other the next day and Kendrick acting like it was all good and an interview with Elliot Wilson. You can watch the whole Crown video. I've done enough videos on that. But Drake took it sensitively. Then, this bar, there's 3 goats left, and I see 2 of them kissing and hugging on stage. I love them to death, and in 8 bars I'll explain that phrase. Clearly referencing J. Cole and Drake on stage, hugging it up, and J. Cole has said that Drake is the GOAT on stage. He says, I don't want to talk on no celly. You know I got a language barriers. There's no accent you can tell me, referring to Drake's many accents, the Jamaican accent, the London accent, the Toronto accent, saying he's a fraud once again. Yeah, Cole and Aubrey know I'm selfish. The crown is heavy, meaning he's number 1 right now. He's the king. I pray that they my real friends. If not, I'm YNW Melly. YNW Melly has a song Murder on My Mind. Is also on trial right now for the of his 2 friends. Cole, sit this one out. You're all good. It's all friendship. But if it is real, I will murder you on a track. And Drake, I don't think this is real, so I'm coming for you on this track. But he kind of gives Cole the pass and says, it's okay, buddy. Stay out of this one. I don't like you popping Pharrell. For him, I inherit the beef. Yeah, F all that pushing P. Let me see you push a T. You better off spinning again on him. You think about pushing me. So Drake allegedly bought Pharrell's chain for $2.2 million. And then on Meltdown, he says, F all that spin in the narrative. I melt down the chains that I bought from your boss. Give an F about all of that heritage. Basically, Pusha T working with Pharrell a lot. Pharrell works with Kendrick as well. Clearly, he inherited Pusha's beef. So Kendrick's saying, I'll inherit that beef from you and I'll go it. You for Pharrell, but also saying you didn't finish your business with Pusha. Before you come at me, finish that first. And Pusha P, of course, a song with Gunna and Drake. Gunna is about to be referenced again. He's Terrence Thornton. I'm Terrence Crawford. I had to look it up, but Terrence Thornton is Pusha T's real name. Terrence Crawford, boxer. There's a difference, he's saying. I'm throwing hands. Gunna gets mentioned. I know some about dudes that make Gunna wanna look like a saint. Basically saying, I know a lot more about you, Drake. I'll look like Gunna on the track. I'm saying everything if you want to go there. Gunna replied on Twitter. He said, we ain't gotta get personal. This is a friendly fade. You should keep it that way. This is about rap. We can keep it at rap, but if you want to go personal, I have more on you. And he says, I hate the way you walk, the way you talk.
I don't like anything about Drake. Mom, I don't like his voice. I don't like
He responds directly to Drake saying, my last album is a classic and my first album is a classic, but you don't have any classic albums, which is a clear conversation starter about Drake. And then he mentions Drake fake abs, which is a rumor and probably true, and mentioned by Rick Ross and Joe Budden before. Extortion my middle name as soon as you jump off the plane. Mentioning on push-ups, Drake said you get extorted by Top Dog. He's basically saying, let's look at your splits. Let's look at your deals. You've been extorted in the past by your deal. He's saying, don't let Yachty ghostwrite this for you either. There was a reference track that surfaced online of Lil Yachty ghostwriting for Drake, or, you know, at least giving him a reference for his verse. So Yachty is basically being referenced because Kendrick's like, whoever you got on your team, they can give you the sauce, they can give you the lyrics, they can give you the swag, whatever it may be. I'm taking you all up. He referenced Sexy Red. When I see you stand by Sexy Red, I believe you see 2 bad bitches. Self-explanatory. Drake's always with Sexy Red. Rumor has it that he might actually be getting money from Sexy Red based on a deal they have. I don't know if that's true, but they're together a lot, so he's just making jokes. Then he speaks about deals and he said, let's speak on percentage. Show me your splits. I make sure I double back with you. You assigned to a dude that's signed to a dude that's signed to a dude that's signed to a dude. This is something that Pusha T said on Exodus 23:1, where he's basically saying you were signed to Wayne, Birdman, Lucian. Your money gets split up a bunch of times too. So why are you talking about my deal when you had bad deals in the past too? Then he says this, try cease and desist on the Like That record. Ho, what? You ain't like that record? I just found out this too, but apparently Drake might have ordered a cease and desist on the Like That remix with Kanye. I don't know what was sampled. I don't know how that worked, but Rick Ross also mentioned Drake might have had a cease and desist on French Montana for a leaked song. Who knows? But that was an interesting mention from Kendrick. Then he says back to back, I like that record. I'm gonna get back to that for the record. Maybe that means Kendrick's dropping again soon and he's gonna back to back Drake. I don't know. Or maybe he's saying I'm gonna go back to back to back, back to back to back, back to back to back, because there's something in there that he wants to reference. I don't know. Or maybe he's referencing the AI song as in he did it back to back this time when he was going at Kendrick and he's got more to reference. I don't know. But then he talks about y'all think all of my life is rap, as in like you think I was just sitting there waiting, scribbling things down and really waiting to get at you, Drake. I have other things going on in my life. But the thing is, I don't think that's a fair point for Kendrick to bring up because he did start this with Like That in this sense. Obviously, they've been going back and forth for years, but he did bring it up this time. So he clearly cares. It ain't 20v1, it's 1v20 if I gotta smack the dudes that write with you. He's basically flipping the 20v1 narrative. Listen, yes, all these other people hate you, but this is me versus you and whoever's on your team. I actually might be at the disadvantage because you might have writers, which is a clear, ghostwriting reference. He says, what I learned, these dudes don't like the West Coast. Basically saying, like, Drake disrespected the West Coast by using Tupac's voice and Snoop Dogg's voice. And then he also uses Crody, which is slang, and Drake has used it on songs before. He said, Crody, turn me up. So Kendrick is also, referencing his own slang and saying you're not really from this. And he's saying, I haven't even gone there yet. So if you want to go there, we can take it there. We can talk about families. He says, tell me why you cheesing, fam, which is Toronto slang, and he makes fun of Drake's accent, basically saying, you're trying to be someone you're not. Again, in all of these scenarios. Yeah, overall, my opinion, I think that this was a great reply to Push-Ups. I think Push-Ups was great, and I think this was great. I actually think we're somewhat tied. Maybe Kendrick's ahead a little bit, but I do think that there will be more diss tracks. I think that there's going to be round 2 of this battle. I think this was round 1. I think Kendrick had a lot to reply to, but this wasn't the nuclear bomb that he's been talking about that people have been saying Kendrick has. He didn't say anything personal. I think he's waiting to see if Drake wants to take it there. Otherwise, they'll leave it as rap. He said, Cole, this is between me and Drake. No worries. You step aside. We're still friends as long as you're still friends with me. We're cool, but I'm aiming at Drake. And I'm interested to see what happens. I think will age really well. I think there's a lot of bars in here that maybe I missed, and you can let me know in the comments what I missed, and I think will reveal themselves over time, like a lot of Kendrick's music. But yeah, this was a solid. To me, it was a warning shot, but a direct warning shot. Like, do you want to take it there? We'll take it there. And I think Drake will probably reply, and then Kendrick will reply again. But you let me know what you think in the comments below. Let me know who's up, who's winning, what's next. Jeremy Hecht, as always, for Hip Hop DX. If no one else has told you yet today, I appreciate you. Peace.